everyone, I am here with the decks I'm using for the month of September. So we're starting to get into spooky season, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's still pretty warm out here where I am, but I know by the end of September it won't be that way anymore. Living in, on the Canadian prairies, fall is short. It's somebody flicks a switch and then it gets kind of chilly and the leaves all change color. It's very beautiful, but it's very brief. But we're still a bit in summer mode right now. But I know spooky season is approaching. So September I start to get out this spookier type of decks. So if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you'll know that I do some daily tarot and the weekly oracle. So if you, these are the decks that you'll be seeing there, or you may have already seen. So first of all, the Dark Mansion Tarot is what I'm going to be using as my tarot deck for the month. Also, if you get a reading from me from my Etsy shop, this is probably what you'll get unless it's a very specific reading with another deck. The only thing in my box, it has like a bit of damage, but oh well, that's the only thing. I love this box though because it is very sturdy. This is probably one of the most expensive decks I've ever purchased, but I really, really love the artwork on it, so it became worth it for me. Box is really nice, kind of opens like, I think they call this a clamshell. And the art is just like, it's very Tim Burton-esque to me because it's kind of that Victorian, creepy, cute type of artwork. So not all of it is creepy, that's for sure. We've got here a really beautiful Empress. Love all the colors there. Try to find one that's a little more spooky. Oh, this makes me very much think of Gangs of New York, this particular one there. They're all fighting with each other. But you can see it's got like this Victorian, this one here, very Corpse Bride type energy I get from it. It's got like a whimsy to it, which I quite love. The colors are really beautiful. I know this isn't everyone's thing. It's very Napoleon. It very much makes me think of Napoleon. It's got like some art history references in it for sure. Let's find some of the creepy stuff. Oh, this one's I like that, very Dickensian with them in the snow. Going past the church and the Five of Pentacles. Let's take a look here. So there are some that are a little, oh, I love this. This is very Halloween-y, the tower with sort of this crooked house that's falling down. It's a bit Edward Gorey-ish, quite like that. Got the Five of Swords there with the ominous clouds in the sky. It's just like, I really like this deck. It's got like a quirky kind of vibe to it, but it has like a bit of an edge. Okay, here we go. That's a great death card. Just so, so beautiful. So it kind of gives me this September vibe because it does have this like a little bit of like a spooky element to it, but it's still got a lot of bright colors. I love that it's got some winter scenes, it's got some summer scenes, it's got fall, like it's got a little bit of kind of everything. So I really like working with this particular deck. And the cardstock is just gorgeous on this. Really love it. For my cartomancy deck, because I read cards, when I read tarot, I couple it with cartomancy all the time. So in the fall, I like to pull out my Kipper deck. So this is the Fin de Sickle Kipper by Ciro Marchetti. I love his Lenormand deck as well, the Gilded Reverie, I think it's called Lenormand. One of my favorite Lenormand decks, that's for sure. So this is a Kipper deck, which is different than Lenormand. It's got a lot more people in it. I think it's more German. It's got silver gilding on the side. I'm a sucker for gilding. Love it. And it's got a Victorian type of vibe to it too. It has some similar cards as the Lenormand, but like the child and stuff, but it's a lot more people oriented. We've got the gift here. There's also some cards that are a bit darker, like imprisonment. Now, what I've told people I've read for them, when imprisonment comes up, it doesn't always mean like, somebody actually going to prison. It's more about that feeling of being trapped or being stuck. We've got the Lovers here. It's shiny, so I'm just trying to keep it out of the ring light. You've also got your significators. You've got like a male and a female. You've got a wealthy man and a privileged woman. So you can use these, like if you're reading for somebody in, like, for example, like a same-sex relationship, you could pull the main man out and maybe like the mature man or the wealthy man to represent maybe like the partner or something. So it does have some versatility, which is good, because, you know, not all of us fit into, you know, the straight heterosexual type of box, you know, like myself. Well, what I mean is, like, I fit into that box, but not everybody fits into that box. So, you know, it's good to have some options. Right? There's like concern. There's an official person here, like someone in the military, somebody who's in authority. We have adjudication, pathways, which is kind of like the crossroads. This really beautiful pathway, though. And we've got the family room, and we've got the house. They're different. The house is about the physical house. The family room is about the family. So it's got some variations and some subtleties, which I really, really like. Traditional Kipper tends to focus, of course, on like the middle to upper class, because that's who the cards were designed for. But I really like that he's added some cards in this deck. There's one for like toil and labor. There's poverty. There's also ones for community as well. So he's added, I think, 3 of them to the deck to kind of represent a little bit more broad aspect of society. So I do quite like using these decks for fall, and it gives me, you know, just something different to work with. And I find that it pairs really well with the Dark Mansion Tarot because it does have that Victorian vibe to it. All right. For my Oracle deck for the month, I am using the Les Vampire Oracle, which is a classic from Jasmine Beckett Griffith and Lucy Cavendish. It's not my most favorite deck between these two. That would be the Shadows and Light Oracle, but it is one of my favorites. I do really enjoy this deck, especially this time of year. So we've got here right away sort of very Halloween-y, fall type vibes to it. That death will come, the pomegranate. I find this pairs well with the colors. Also sort of like the big-eyed children, kind of makes me think a little bit of, you know, Victorian nostalgia, or at least Edwardian. The Call of the Night. And again, it's got that whimsy to it, which I find goes quite well with the Dark Mansion Tarot. I love the rich colors. It also has some, you know, a little bit of art history references there. It's a bit Rococo, a bit Baroque. And, you know, it's like a fun deck because it's like vampires and it's kind of cute, spooky. But I find that it often does have like kind of these darker, more deep type themes. And I think that, you know, for fall, I find people are a little more introspective. So I like working with decks like that for sure. So that's another deck you'll probably see if you get a reading from me and in the Instagram and TikTok daily videos as well. For my personal own practice, I have been pulling every week a card from the Enchanted Map. This is the new edition of the Enchanted Map by Colette Baron-Reid. I have the old edition as well with borders. She has changed some of the cards. For this, I think they were trying to make things like a little bit more diverse, which is a good thing. So if you want me to do like a comparison video, let me know. I'll show you what the comparisons are. This one is borderless as opposed to the other one, which did have a border. Most of the cards are the same. There's a few that have changed though. And it's not matte, but it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's not matte, but it's not really glossy either. It's got a bit of a sheen to it, but it's not like super glossy. So I actually like that because I'm not a huge fan of matte cards. I find the pictures really pop without the border. I'm trying to find one that did get changed if you're familiar with this deck, because most are the same. Oh, here we go. Peaks of Joy has changed. So there's one of the ones that has changed. But I've been just doing this as sort of like, what are the energies like this week? Because I find that this deck, both this and the Wisdom of the Oracle decks, those two I think are probably, oh, I like the Spirit Animal one as well, are probably her best decks so far. This one's got a particular energy to it. And I like that it's not all just like, you know, super positive kind of cards. Like this one here, Deep Freeze, is really about like just sort of sometimes you can't move forward and you just have to stay still. So I've been working with this, just pulling a card every week, and I found that it does have, some pretty accurate guidance. So I've been enjoying working with that, working with the new edition. And then I always like to have a affirmation deck. And again, this is just for me, for my practice. So for fall, for like September, October, November, I'm working with the Wisdom cards by Louise Hay. And so what I'll do is I'll just shuffle one. They have kind of like a short affirmation on one side and a longer one on the other. Like, for example, these are pretty shiny. I'm willing to learn something new every day. And then it's got more on the back there. So you could really work with like either the short or the long. I help create a world where it is safe to love each other. And then on the back it says, every time I meditate or do a visualization for healing, I am connecting with like-minded people all over the planet. So they're just like really lovely, uplifting little cards. I am at peace. Little koi fish there. I have unlimited potential. I know this isn't everyone's favorite artwork and not everybody's into these kind of things, but I think, it is a really great little deck for just all sorts of different affirmations. You can look for one that you like. I like to shuffle and just let what speaks to me come up. So let's do a shuffle. Okay, I have here, I express my true being today. Oh, it's funny, I just showed that. This is a new day. I begin anew to claim and create all that is good. That's really lovely. I like that. So just these nice little thoughts, and I'll work with that affirmation for the week. So those are the decks I'm working with for September. As we get this to Christmas. Actually, Thanksgiving, which in Canada is the second Monday in October, unlike in the States where it's the last Thursday of November. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have to try to remember that. But our Thanksgiving is earlier because our growing season is earlier. It's also not tied to the whole history of like pilgrims and all that, because that just isn't part of our history. So it's just more of like a just straight up like harvest festival type thing. So my favorite is Thanksgiving to Christmas. That whole Thanksgiving leading into Halloween and then leading towards the Christmas scene. That's like my favorite time of year. So I love this time of year. I'm very excited about it. All right, let me know if you have these decks, if you work with any of these, if you're thinking of working with any of these, let me know. You can check out my Etsy shop if you want a reading of your own from me. Either I have astrology readings and like tarot and oracle readings there. You can check that out. On the Patreon, thank you to all my patrons for supporting me. You guys, this allows me to keep doing this, so thank you so much. We are, I usually have like a coven level, but I've switched up. So the next 3 months, we're going to be working with the Artist Way. I'm working on our creativity. So if you're looking to revamp your creativity, get back into things, you're looking to, get some creative juices flowing as you go into the fall, you can come and join me there on the Patreon. Check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. And as always, peace and love and rock and roll, and thank you to my patrons.